And then the parsha, my friend, goes on to mention the central figure of this portion, Pinchas, who was also part of the group that was weeping in front of the presence of the Almighty. Weeping? Why? Because of the stupidity of his people. He stops and he sees an Israelite pass in front of him, Moses and the weeping assembly, taking a Midianite woman into his tent with no shame. So what? So he goes a little crazy. There's nothing wrong with that. And here we see that God didn't think so either. And what many fail to understand when studying the narrative is that Pinchas actually put his life on the line for the sake of goodness, because, according to Jewish law, he would have been guilty for murder. And I'm sure he was aware of this. And friends, his act was more than an act of zealotry. It was an act of love, not just for the Jews, but for the whole world. Why? Because it was individuals like these that were destroying the last best hope for humanity. So if anything, his act was much more an act of martyrdom as it was an act of zealotry. And what many people fail to acknowledge is that the Jewish people created the concept of martyrdom. How? Because, friends, in the past, people did not die for their gods. I mean, we know that perhaps they sacrificed others to their God, but the concept of offering up one's life for their deity did not exist till Judaism, which is why the Parsha states that the reason Pinchas did what he did was because he was zealous for the honor of God, to the point that it states that this one man turned the Almighty's anger away from the Jewish people and even stopped the plague, teaching us that one man, my friends, one man could make a difference. Now compare that to today, where a man on YouTube can even publicly criticize the behavior of his own people without being labeled a hater. Whether it's homosexuality, mysticism, liberalism, atheism, and even feminism. Anyone who dares to speak out is blasted and accused of speaking lashon hara or lacking Ahavat Yisrael. Friends, do we not read the same Torah? Do we not know why we collectively suffer? And many are probably thinking, how could I be pro-proselytizing and at the same time call out the sins as I see them amongst the Jewish people? And friends, if you're thinking this, then you've missed the point of it all. Why? Because the Torah, my friends, will sell itself if it's presented correctly to the masses. There's no need to whitewash its people to make it seem more appealing. As a matter of fact, this is what gives our book the most credibility, the notion that it criticizes its own. In other words, survival was never a virtue in the narrative, but just obedience. In other words, if we keep Torah, God will ensure our survival. Now, I'm in no way telling anyone here to take the law into their own hands, because, like we said, that even according to Jewish law, someone who forgoes the judicial process in such a manner is liable for the death penalty himself. But rather, we should just do as it states in Pirkei Avos, that in a place where there are no men, strive to be a man. And then, friends, the Parsha here has the Almighty reminding Moshe Rabbeinu that because of his sin, he won't enter Eretz Yisrael. And what does Moshe Rabbeinu do? He doesn't grovel, he doesn't whine like most Jews today, but immediately asks the Almighty to get a replacement, because he understood that this mission, this project was bigger than he was. And in this spirit, in the spirit of Moshe, in the spirit of Pinchas, I'm speaking to you today, telling you to also be strong and begin living life for something greater than yourselves. And as the Parsha states regarding Pinchas, let your actions also be an atonement for the Jewish people. So friends, spread Torah and be Jewish. If you're interested in converting to Judaism, please visit doordea.com. And for everything Jewish, please visit torahjudaism.org and bejewish.org. Thank you.